Selhurst Park, new stand, progress. Is it finally going to happen? The Athletic reveals the major details, including how much it will cost, when it will be done, and also what is actually going on in this current moment of time. And the most important thing that I asked a long time ago is how much money could this new stand bring and more. Let's get started with Palace News. What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News. Sorry for the delay. Look, if you're just showing it now, we haven't even got a thumbnail sorted. That's how late I'm going to try to sort it out whilst talking. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But as always, if you do enjoy the stream, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to not miss out on future Palace content. I'm joined by T here. T, how you been, man?
What's going on, man? I'm doing good, bro.
Yeah, well, we could have covered this on Thursday. We're both busy, but might as well catch up everything. There's still, I know we missed a day of Palace news or two maybe, but there hasn't been much going on today. Sam Johnson, he started for England. That was good.
Clean sheet.
Yeah, Gay, he's starting as well. Do you think Gay's now earned his spot there?
I mean, comparatively to everybody else, I mean, it seems like he's the guy. I mean, he's the most consistent center back they have right now, outside of like probably John Stones. So I don't see why not. Those two are probably the best going forward.
Exactly. And Sam Johnson is going to be interesting to see if Gareth Southgate actually sticks with him when it comes to international games. So T, I don't know if you have read the report. I mean, we haven't had much time to brief before. Have you read the report from the Athletic?
Yeah, I read it in bits and pieces just because I had to find different sources and things. But it sounds like we cleared all the hurdles, man, which is great. It sounds like it's going to cost us a little bit more than expected. Before, I think they said like 150 million now.
Yeah, rather than 100.
Yeah, I just hope that we trend in the right direction truly.
Yeah. So just reading everything, the price, the time as well. We'll go through it. We'll quickly mention that as well. What have you made of it? Or like, are you pleased with the progress? But for me, it's a case of let's just get it done. We've been talking about this for ages and ages and ages. There are key details that I'm going to also let you know if you haven't read it yet, and if you want to read it, I'll also post a link as well to the Athletics article. But for you, in terms of like the just a general feeling towards this new stand, like how are you feeling? Are you like excited? Are you just like let's get this over and done with? Because it's been going on for a while now.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'm definitely to a point. It's like, hey, let's get this over and done with. I think a big part of it is because I feel like for so long, a lot of our actions or lack thereof kind of has been shadow attributed to us needing to get the stadium done. It's like, why are we spending in these windows? And it's because all of our money is being budgeted towards the stadium. So it's like, I just want to get that, going and get this process over with so that we can try to see what things are going to look like going forward in other areas. Like, I don't like the backdrop of the excuses that can be made of us not doing certain things in other areas because of the stadium. And it's like, it's overdue. I mean, how long can you talk about something happening? Like, we're not even talking about a new, and like, mind you, we're not talking about a new stadium. Like, there are teams that have literally probably built entire stadiums in the time that we've been talking about just getting a new main stand. You know what I'm saying? Like, Luton got stuff done crazy fast, but it's just, I don't know. It's just, I think
they
it's
didn't
just
get it
tired.
done to the level that we're getting it done, though. They got
No, not at all. I'm just saying the fact that it got done. They got going. They got stuff going. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things you just ready for progress to be made.
Do you think though, like when you, of course, look the details? I'll read out some of the key details, and then we'll talk about a bit more about the stand. But the tender process for for main contractor is in place with view starting next summer. So it will be starting next summer. An agreement between Palace and Sainsbury's has been settled for several million pounds. That's for the car park. The Mayor of London's office has deferred the decision making to local Croydon Council, effectively approving planning permission, which is very positive. And the council officials who had previously criticised the club for poor communication with the residents, that has been solved as well. So when you talk about, other clubs building new stands and renovations, etc., do you think that, the inflation, COVID, do you understand why there have been delays as well because of the times we had to go through? Like, this was announced in 2017. I was there in the media day. I saw all the plans and everything. And then afterwards, I guess we had 2 to 3 years negotiations, and then COVID came into play. Do you understand it? Do you understand, despite being frustrated?
Yeah, I mean, I understand it because from reading and seeing reports, it seems like it was not a cut and dry process whatsoever because it was so many entities that were involved in the process, and a lot of it, I think, it sounds like it has to do with the fact of just where Selhurst Park is located. You know what I mean? Where the actual stadium is. There's so many pieces that are involved in, like the people that live in, I think it's called Wooderson Close.
Yeah.
The people that not only relocating them, but then finding them housing. Uh, Everything that's going on with Sainsbury and trying to get them to sell, or it's and then of course the council approvals and all these things. Like, it's so many steps that had to be taken and approved, and you know what I'm saying, just so you can now be at the point where we are now, where it's like, okay, we can finally figure out who the hell is going to be the contractor that's going to build it.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. Well, the view is to start next summer, so hopefully there's a few contractors, and hopefully it's like a battle of trying to pick one of a few. But me, in general, I would have preferred us to build a new stadium, but I guess that would have took a while at
Yeah.
Crystal Palace Park, where of course you wouldn't know Crystal Palace Park because I don't think you've been there. But it's like a massive green space, massive green
I've
space.
seen pictures.
Yeah, you see, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's massive green space. So like that, you don't really have problems even with future developments. With the ground at Palace, you got houses around it. On top of that, you got Sainsbury's, which is a massive brand. I don't know the comparison to it. I would say Walmart or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
So like for the future, yes, this new stand is great, but you'd still like to see development all around rather than just one stand. And in the future, I wonder if there'll be
Exactly.
problems, especially with like the Arthur Way, which has a few more houses behind it as well. And it's not like Woodison Close, whether if we want to expand that or the Holmesdale end or the Whitehall's end, because that faces Sainsbury's. So that's been my main concern. But overall, look, reading the article, there's been a lot of positive takes. I think one of the key areas, of course, there's a lot that got said in an article. We're not going to go through all of it. We'll just go through some of the key details. Is the residents that we're talking about, they have been
Mhm.
moved now. So I believe we just have to buy out the houses, which shouldn't take long now because the main thing about them moving has happened. But it's interesting the fact that they spoke about money coming in, and it was Matt Woosnam who wrote the article, and I think he got the quotes from Steve Parrish, but he said, I'm just trying to find it right now in terms of how much this could bring in. He said that Steve Parrish has said that it would provide an extra 20 to 30 million pound each season. When you figure that kind of money, you understand why we've been pushing for it for so much, and that will be
Mhm.
massive. But I don't know where. I mean, I guess there's hospitality, etc. But I don't understand how 20 to 30 million pound extra. I mean, me and Tim done the calculations. Well, rough calculations, and we said what 12 to 15, 20 to 30. That would be very good if that is true. I don't know exactly how he meant that, but like that would be fantastic. I think that's the best news coming out of it. Like, we will see that there'll be a significant amount of money coming in once it's complete.
For sure. I mean, obviously, it sounds like they have modes of revenue that maybe we not may not be privy to. They may have some things going on, or some things they know that's going to bring money in that we may not even have any idea about. Whether that be, you also got to think about sponsorships and businesses and corporations that are going to be want to be involved with the club now,
Mm.
with the development, something like that. You know, um, we may be calling it the main stand, but somebody may want to get a brand on it. You know what I'm saying? You do a deal with somebody, and it's like the such and such main stand. And all of a sudden you got millions of dollars coming in. I don't know. So there's, I mean, obviously there's some type of revenue streams that we're not accounting for with this deal, but it's great to know that it's expected to come in and be that high.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you can see the comments, T, but if
Mhm.
you want, you can go pick out some comments that the viewers have been sending. Send them through, people. I've been setting up the stream whilst talking on the stream. That's the kind of day it's been. I've put out a thumbnail. I'm just sorting out one or more two pieces as well for everyone that
So
watches the
Tim
replay.
says it's got to be luxury suites, commercial additions, price increases, expand the use of the park is probably going to be nothing because with it's probably going to be something where adding a certain amount of people, you might be able to host certain types of international things. Mitch says there's some rumors about doing something in the park, but I don't know how far it got. The athletic center there is basically falling down. Could have replaced it in theory.
I think talking about
Yes.
Crystal Palace Park, that was talking
Yeah,
like
Crystal
how
Park.
there's a
Yep,
lot of green
yep,
space.
yep.
The athletic stadium ain't that big in first place. I mean, it's wide, but it's not that big. I mean, maybe we could have done in that place, but then again, I guess the planning and the cost involved would have been 100% more significant. I mean, we're spending what 150 million
150
pounds,
million pounds.
which is
Yep.
going to be sourced
Yep.
by loans from shareholders,
Hmm.
which is also interesting because we've seen what Texas said in the past, and we spoke about whether he wants to put more money into the club and all of them debates. But I guess there is that agreement there still in place. But 150 million pounds for a new stand is expensive. Imagine a whole new stadium.
Yeah,
That is wild.
whole new stadium will probably run you close to a bill, 750 million, something like that, something crazy.
Yeah, and I guess yeah, I mean, then we'll literally have zero transfer budget. If we're
Yeah,
talking right now,
I think Barcelona when Barcelona completely, the new Camp Nou cost right around $1 billion, I think.
yeah, it is a lot of money as well. But I'll go through some of the other stuff that they spoke about. It mentioned about a signing, the planning permission with the council, etc. But it's talking about the initial budget, which was around £100 million. The article, which is a 50% increase, which is quite significant, and
Hmm.
apparently that is due to inflation. But these funds are going to be from Palace's shareholders, says Matt Woosnam. An agreement was reached with Sainsbury's as well. Palace have donated £250,000 to a regeneration group that will distribute to its projects within the local area. Look, there's been new pictures that's been removed, and the new pictures look better than the old pictures as well. So I guess once that main contractor is in place, then things will be a bit more clear in terms of how the new stand will look. Because since 2017, I guess you can change a few things around that as well. And I saw from the article, I'm pretty sure I saw it, but it's about 13,000 capacity increase. Yeah, 13. Well, a
The
new
book up like
13,000,
30, I saw
13,500
33,000, something
capacity.
like that.
That'll be no, it won't be increased, but I think the capacity of the new stand, of the
Hmm.
new main stand, would be 13,500, which is
Hmm.
quite significant as well. But let's say, well, you don't go to games, so it'll be interesting to have your perspective. But what if that 20 to 30 million, pound extra revenue per year was a result of increasing prices for fans? How would you feel as a fan? How do you think? Because you don't, of course, go to games. You're over in the
Hmm.
States.
Hmm.
But do you think that would be the right move? Like, honestly.
Well, here's the thing, like, and I have to speak from an American capitalistic standpoint. Uh, I At least you're not getting it on both ends. Let me say this because, like, if say this is in the States, not only are the ticket prices going to go up with the new additions, it's also going to be like the money that they're getting, where they're getting the money from to actually build it would have come through the taxpayers. So fans would have paid for it on both ends.
Mm,
So from that standpoint, it's like, okay, thank God that private funding is doing this for the stadium because it could be so much worse if there was a taxation on the people, the local people, in order to have it built. But it's never fair. It's never fun. When ticket prices have to go up, especially when you're dealing with a club like ours, where you know a lot of really hard working people are the ones that are showing up and coming through the turnstiles every week. People who even marginal price hikes, it affects them. It affects their families. You know what I'm saying? Like price hikes can take season ticket holders from 4 tickets for their whole family down to possibly 2 just because of how much it costs them overall. So it's never an easy thing on the fans at all. And it sucks. And then I think
Yeah.
the conversation is then are we filling the stands? Are you
Yeah.
are you are you selling out matches with this brand new stand, but even though you got higher prices now for your tickets?
Yeah. So in terms of how long it'll take as well, there's an answer for that. It says in an article that Palace will play the closing games of the 26-27 season and opening games of 27-28 season away from home to
Oh,
allow for
so
contingency.
Jesus,
That
that's
is,
so
it's yeah.
far away.
I mean, we it starts next summer, but it takes about 3 years to build a new stand. And I think the
It's like,
reason
bro, build a
why it
new
will take a
stadium.
while is because we want to still allow fans to go to games in the main stand. So the main stand will still be open whilst the construction is going on. And I think that's why it will take much longer than usual. It is annoying, T, but
Mhm.
I get it. I get why it will take about 3 years, especially if you're doing it in a slower process to allow fans to come in. But we're talking the beginning of 27-28 season.
Yeah,
Like,
it just seems like it's a long way away,
how
man.
old would Eze be in 27-28 season? I
He'll
mean,
be
how
he's
old
like
is
30. Eze be 30.
Whilst his new man? So even though there's progress, I mean, when it will be done, if everything goes accordingly, by the way,
It's
which
gonna be a
hopefully it
very
does
different team.
anyway.
It's gonna be a very and like there was a comment. Let me see this comment because it makes a lot of sense. God, who said it?
What was the comment? I'll find it
Um,
for you.
oh, Simon. Simon says we can't get
Oh,
relegated now. That would be catastrophic. Spending 150 million pounds, then getting relegated. Like it makes complete sense because like that's a by that time we're talking about Palace being in the Premier League for 16 or 17 years. We're talking about at that time it's going to be a whole new squad. Like it's going to be a lot of things different by the time that stadium gets done. You know what I'm saying? And in order for that to work in our favor, we got to make sure that, like you said, the team is still around, still playing in the Premier League because all I'm telling you, that revenue they're talking about, that 25, 30 million that be coming in, that 25, 30 million won't be coming in if we're playing in the championship because we're gonna be like
yeah.
that. We're gonna be having to put that out to recoup.
Well, there's two sides of it here. I know we haven't got long left, but I guess you can look at it and say maybe that's why staying up is going to be the focus. But we can't. As a fan, I mean, we can't just say we have to stay up. This season we're doing well, but you know when you talk about progression and getting that final player to push onwards, etc.
Mhm.
Maybe it's just a case of staying up to 27-28
And,
season,
and,
which
and,
will
and if that's the case, D, and this is the timeline that we talking about, the stuff that we've been doing as a club, the moves that haven't been made that we feel like should have been made, it makes a lot more sense at this point because they're like, yo, like, y'all need to chill, man, because we just trying to keep the boat afloat, like until we can get to this point. Because we might mess around and be in administration again if we try to dump in this 150 million and then we get relegated.
Yeah. You don't want to dump in that much money. We're gonna
Yeah.
wrap up in a few minutes' times. Tim saying, how hard would it be expanding and redeveloping Alpha and White Horse Lane stands if this goes well? White Horse Lane, very hard. You effectively have to buy out Sainsbury's, and I think there's houses behind it as well. But I think a White Horse Lane, if you do buy out Sainsbury's and the house behind it, I think is more realistic. I mean, Arthur Wait, I don't know how you develop that further because it's very tight and very close to the road. There's houses right next to it as well. It's not like one or two houses, it's a long road with houses. So that's the thing, Tim. I mean, with this new stand getting built, of course, I want the other stands to be developed as well and get bigger, increase the capacity. But realistically, I'm not, of course, an architect or anything like that, engineer. But when I'm looking at it, I mean, it'll be very hard to expand Selhurst Park further. And I think it'll require a ton of money, planning permission. It'll be way more of a headache because right now it was a headache sorting out a small piece of Sainsbury's car park. And of course, we had to move houses as well. But Yeah, I think White Horse is the most realistic one at this point, rather than Arthur Wait. But that will look very weird if you have like 3 double stands and 1 Arthur Wait on the side with a single stand.
And then if it with putting the money in to develop this stand, like we're not leaving Selhurst Park anytime soon. Like you're not like you don't put in this type of money in order to leave. Like so that whole idea of people wanting us to build at Crystal Palace Park, like it's not it doesn't seem doable because then you're leaving this brand new piece in this stadium you're just leaving it cold. Like I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Look, people, that's it from me and T today. We thought we had to jump on, even though the news got announced yesterday. We thought we'll update you today and have a little conversation going. As always, if you have enjoyed it, like and subscribe. Let's reach 4,000 subscribers. If there's anything else that's been going on, we'll jump on here. Of course, update you as always. But that's it from me and T. Until next time, up the palace.
Up the Palace.